or you jot down some of the things that we are discussing, just highlights. Are you following, sir? Okay, recording. Yeah, started recording. So
I'll start recording so that we can even play it on our media. I mean, executive media. So I've just started recording.
Okay.
So we can all keep track of key issues, but I raise my discuss.
Okay, that's fine. I want to know why others couldn't join. Is it because they don't know how to join, or because they don't have the capacity to join? They don't have the facilities to join. Did anybody take any excuse?
Well, nobody is here for my knowledge, because unless there was an individual call, or but there was no message on the platform to take excuse.
Most messages on a platform they read people who could not join for one reason or the other, like network. Like August Nopa sent a message that he can't get audio. I want to sent a message, see he cannot hear here, but I have a join at all. So I think most often nobody cable connection problem.
Okay. So on that basis, we have formed enough quorum to continue. Am I right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are busy.
No. Madi say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this person is having Infinix Hot 9. I don't know the person.
What go be now? What go be now?
Okay, madam. Yeah. Okay. So, thank you very much. At least it's good for us to know who is here and who is not here. So the next thing I need now, let's review our activities in the year 2020. Gonna be here work for us, and then I work there so that we can be able to. Those ones that worked, we hold them tight. Those ones that didn't work, we see how we can adjust on them and continue. I have a question. So who is starting? Let's start from. Okay, start. Yes, please. It's good to highlight those things. Yeah. Start. Anybody?
I want to start.
Yes. Amua. Sound.
Our system, our network from that area. We're looking outside the car dog on a door overstretched.
Okay.
I think all the wave system there. But as it is last year, from my own assessment, our programs starting from let me start from the YGE programs. The YGE programs was overwhelming. because the desire by all youths, in fact, both aged, male, female, of all sexes, everybody, in fact, this is all culture across sex, everybody was concerned and age group. So people, both old and young, came out to the field with all enthusiasm to partake in the watching of the ball, the soccer, and the opening programs, and then until the match continues before we started having some issues. But besides that, it is the zeal and the desire of our people to partake in that program was overwhelming. So it shows that the youth, all the programs by the YGE was all acceptable apart from the skirmishes we had along the line. But sincerely, it is a unifying factor because and they feel there, everybody was home dry, supporting one team or the other and showing concern. But thank God, if not that we are still that a one unity led of what we are, there are places that this unity or disagreement will happen. There will be fight instantly and people will begin to kill each other or wound each other. But the thing was put under control. At least there are some respect. When you say this one stop, the other one stop, or don't do this, don't do that. You know, people were still able to listen and then recognize that yes, you can tell him something and he will obey. So thank God that the thing was put under control. And then moving further, the electricity was a turnaround for the community. Everybody was happy. As soon as there's light everywhere, our own light is on. It gave the town or the community a very lease of life. And then there was fun everywhere. So because it cut across, there was no disconnection. The light was on. Everybody was, in the house. Once there's light, the whole compound is connected to the light. And every other place, the families and all the houses along the line, So, and then the works units, honestly, the works activity was overwhelming. Everywhere is accessible. If you come in from Bumedok, you can dive down to Bay Paul Odo and down to Abata, And then even as I noticed that some Ndakbar got to buying, apart from Obin and the rest of the people, got to Hebanyala, which means the accessibility was about down to Bay Odo, down to Akbar. Ndakbar will collect from that Bimanwi Voha, John, not from there. I'm not going to but I know the accessibility continues when Jerry put them pay Tony. Then it went from buying Barata from Merod down to Bay Doctors of down to the other side, down to Bay Paul Odo, the road Bumomaka and the rest, down to Bay Doctors of everywhere is clean and very neat and accessible. Then down from Bay Tony towards that side is also connected. When he had some activities during that period. So sincerely, all our programs, whatever we did and committed money to, people were overwhelmingly happy. You can read it from the faces of everybody. Everybody that came home was full of praises, full of happiness and enthusiasm that, yes, we now know that we have people that are concerned about us, that this YGE, this leadership led global will continue to thrive. People were very overwhelmingly happy. So I give it to the to Let Global that we have done noble in the steering of the activities. As I said, it is important that we don't let loose because only thing we need to think about now is how to sustaining the things we have done. Like those roads need to be, we said the women need to be engaged to start sweeping so that the thing will not be overgrown again by weeds and grasses. And then all these roads that were created will not be allowed to get back to bush, so that intermittently there should be a general working period so that people will clear the roads and then, women will not be engaged for the sweeping. Once you are sweeping a place, maybe twice weekly, I'm very certain that no weed will go there because the women will be weeding as they are sweeping. So it is important to now go to Organiru, go to all the women groups, say Gosha women, Amaji women, this and that. All the villages and hamlets, they have their women groups. We need to engage them. The way the leadership of the women, who job legal within their area, then they should be able to share it among themselves as that from beginning to start to finish, to ensure that the roads are sustainable. Then the electricity issue, we need to also look into how to make it sustainable by ensuring that the people that are using the light are paying for it. That people that are using the light are paying for it by putting in men that will follow up to ensure collection of bills as and when due, and then going to pay. What NEPA demands from everybody is every month you must pay substantially, if not 100%, but pay more than 70% of your debt. NEPA will not cut your line. But where you begin to have problem is when you now enter arrears, January, February, if not paid, and then you are now 3 months arrears, NEPA will not allow you to. You cannot enjoy. It's no longer NEPA even because EEDC will not let it be because it's a business. It's personal business and salaries need to be paid and a lot of overhead from them. Then on our, like I said, in terms of our funding and sustainable sources, we need to also look at it. But when we get there, but my assessments are on all the things we do it, I score ourselves honestly 90% to the glory of God. We have done well. Well, it's the maintenance culture and sustainability now that we need to talk about and enhance, boot up our system to reboot our system and then move in to make sure that things are done properly. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Patty, for that exhaustive analysis. If I did hear you well, you mentioned that YGE programs worked well, irrespective of the challenges we had. Electricity was a good result. Homes were networked. The road network was accessible. People were overwhelmingly happy over what happened last year. Then in summary, you said that you can score us 90%. So that's what I heard Patty say. And can we move over to someone else? Thank you very much for that contribution. I want us to move to someone else who will, let's begin to, well, carry all of them together. Otherwise, I'm more interested in the areas that did not work, because that will give us a headway forward. Is anybody there with me?
Actually, I would in the line of thought.
Somebody there?
Through the PC, I would prefer that party continues to also discuss even our work. At least go on the work. Yeah, at least men our work. I'm gonna not be one all abuga. Malebo bidore no ga kama in that line for each of the subcommittees and each of the activities we have performed or other ancillary services. It would be nice he exhausts his time to talk about what didn't work well. My opinion. Thank you.
Yeah, your opinion is nice, but I'm any contribution to make in that direction, that'll be fine. But otherwise, let's move to another person. Why he's thinking of something that he can remember now? Unless no, what we should do in that regards now, Patty. At least only Buturoku has so he has opened up more avenues for people to remember what they will say. So why we keep a tab on that? Only another person who wants to make contributions, that will be fine.
Patty, you can unmute yourself if you want to talk because you are muted.
Okay. In continuation, I want to add on the security. The security, I think our major challenge on the security is that it was funding that affected security aspect. But the little that I know, we were able to, at least that December time, they were able to get them paid for, at least provided some little soft landing on their stipend, which encouraged them to be actively participatory and on duty during that December time, because they were patrolling. I witnessed and I saw them a number of times patrolling along the line, and it is highly appreciated also. But sincerely, most of the things we budgeted to do on the security, like the crossbars, those crossbars we wanted to put on the entry points to the various entry points of our villages. We agreed on that, and we sent people to go and inspect. Like so the we saw back, we remember, and he saw J check me, and he got back to us and told us this and this and this, but we didn't get back to him. We will be mobilizing him financially to enable him to start working. But I think that area is the area, and then equipping, getting security apparatus like the safety boots, the torches, and other working items for the security team is also important, which was also highlighted during this January, February discussions. So I think it is essential we also look at that aspect with a view to making sure, because with the trend of things in the country now, security is a very sensitive issue that we have to put all our toes down to make sure that we equip them and they function properly at home, which will safeguard the life of our people. So that's an addition to what I've said earlier. Thank you.
Okay, that's fine. So in that case, what you're saying is that security details, a lot of, we didn't fund the security department effectively. Am I putting you well? Okay, so from hello.
Yeah, Anna, go ahead.
Okay, so what Patty is saying, if I did hear him, but I found the guy, the security department effectively, and we were able to give them some stipends. If I remember, it was only 70,000. It was only the 70,000 that we spent on them, and the accommodation we paid for. I don't think there's any other thing I spent in the security now. Crossbars, you mentioned crossbars, and crossbars didn't actually, we didn't fund it at the end of the day. So these two things, excuse me, he highlighted them as items that did not actually work. Okay, thank you very much, Patty, for that. They are noted. Well, next person.
Hello?
Hello, I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Uche,
yes,
go ahead.
I can hear you.
Thank you, everybody, because let me just chip in some few things. I appreciate every one of us for this meeting. In my own assessments, I think so far we have done pretty well. We just need to improve in some of some of the things we've done. You know, like just as Patty have really pointed out, and I think we are just flooding because I didn't here now again is I can remember the youth and gender this thing. When Dr. Ozo made when he was when he gave his, I think that was January, or immediately after that ball he wrote something, and all this
report.
All these reports were contained there. He gave us the report, and I think he provided the possible solution, the way out.
Recommendations on way forward.
how am I going to handle the next one by possibly this year? So I think if we can improve on all those things, we don't have problem. Where we really have problem is this area of security. I've sometimes mentioned it in our charts. We need to take it serious. We need to take it serious. We don't even need to talk about that we didn't fund them well. We didn't put any money. We just gave 70,000, which is nothing. So I think now we need to these boys 20,000 procure always available now. But the one I go this kind of a social media. So I think we're making progress. So what we just need is to consolidate now. What I will start Zodi again, and if we don't put the necessary measures to checkmate erosion and all these things, the work are worse than the road before. So these are these things we need to be proactive. We need to handle on time. The issue of new YG, of course, I know that one is going. All sets go on already. From next year, whether we just improve on the ones they made this year, it will be better. So on this note, I can say that we have not performed badly. We're on the track. Just as I said, I will not improve on the ones I made, with a more commitment and encourage some other person got to come in. People are not coming in. If you check executive ID now, if they do with a go with 5,000, people may resort to go and a or a maison you. It's only going to have agreement with another people, but men can now. Everybody, I don't want to say that those people will get. Oh, would now take him 5,000 naira, which is not good. What we're going to do the same. Nobody So these are the things, and the piece you don't at the time. It was a certain thing. They accuse the people I would do from the executive and would do 2,000. I push about 100 from 100 to 20, from 20 to still everybody people comply. It's not good. It looks making with all the fools. I don't give you a game. So far, so good, my people. I can make it like areas I'm with a problem now. As I just mentioned, security the major areas I need to handle. Just need to handle. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Honorable. That's short and brief and direct. I am work from the security team, the security unit, and actually, just like I said before, is one department that I don't think we really put more emphasis or energy into. And going forward, all the necessary for us to strategize on how to effectively fund them and organize them better, because ịgba mara nkịtị onye ahụ ga na-eme ihe ka o si cheta nke ya, mana ọ bụrụ na onye ahụ nwee understanding of the pattern of operation, the mode of operation, the international best practices for a particular activity, then onye ahụ ga-ejisi ike na-eme ihe o kwesịrị ime ka ọ dabanye n'ihe ha na-atụ anya na ihe ha ga-eme. Okay, thank you, Uche. Can I hear from the next person? Or can we hear from the next person? I will report the beach. I got here. I admit to the
Well, I think I may have to. Obi, unless my Obi naturally before me. Obi. Obi Chariko Kungwan.
Hello. Hello.
Well done, Obi.
Hello.
Hello.
Obi, well done.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Good evening. Good evening. Hello.
Welcome, my brother.
How are you?
Okay.
Yes.
I just check. I'm fine. You go. Actually, just come cheap in about electricity. Because as it stands now, all got to go under our subcommittee for a long time now. Nayaga the report. Yeah? For a long time now, Nayaga the report. Yes, I can say I was saying now for a long time now, Nayaga the reports. Nayaga send a report because me particularly, I can just say that now committee on electricity. I can just say that they are not active. Oh, the chairman. So I don't know what to do about it. And the information reaching me, but now court okay again. I caught some many communities. I been buying now is like now caught all the transformers. It's like he's only one that they remain. Or Ufa and Yaka permit God what condemn them they are. So just to highlight to people now caught walk I caught to go the okay again. Because now they I can just say I'm going the task force on electricity. They go drive again. I say not to go. That is just what I want to chip in. Because I ain't go work now, and I don't know. I'm going to get hope. I will not to reconnect. I'm coming back. So that's it. That's just what I want to say. I want to more thing. And then on the other hand, security. Because someone when you basa security na on a tomorrow. Because now I'm that now as when the bias now when you draw all before now draw do it. You basa security the very, very important in our community. Because now this time now the season cashew. The herdsmen, the Fulani or Fulani, they do not harass people. Then the man I gave and they freely join egg. And then the security time snap, the security time almost every time. When I team Nevana got by KJ even out there that they are not paid, they are not equipped. How can they be going to the farm or the bush? Trying to pursue the herdsmen without anything. Why those people are not armed? Oh, I look security. And that security of a thing is very, very necessary. Thank you.
Nobody had to achieve their side of the end. Or seeing. Obi. Can you mute yourself?
I want to.
Yes, you can mute yourself and listen to us. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So that I can learn the background. From what Obi is saying, it is an evidence that I will get a sustainable solution to the problems of utility development in the community, especially areas the money needed to make contributions. So, because really use all the tendency is that one day you will lose it. I get there and you won't have light. So that mentality is not right. Then he also mentioned that the committee for electricity, they've had a very effective and serious. Not have the problem, and because of that, Then you have the chairman, the thing the mayor, or the mayor Adamba. So these are the things Obi mentioned. Then he supported the issue of security, which he also mentioned. And this security has been coming up consistently and regularly. So I think at the end of this discussion, God will give us grace to look at them closely. Okay? So I hope I recapped that very well. Okay.
Yeah, I think just to add, I'm repeat the even though work word. And in terms of what worked well, I think it's been captured very well. But just as a kind of summary, I will say that the commitment in leadership helped us to get what we wanted. Also, at the time, I maybe issues. When I flip the other side of what didn't work well, you will understand that's what I meant by Azanoka. So, generally, the spirit to make let great worked well in us, because often I said that then it means Ojikoga work. So, but generally, that spirit helped us to move ahead, irrespective of all odds. That is how I will kind of summarize what worked well. In terms of what didn't work well, I know now within the confines of the executives. So, to me, the few things I observed that didn't work well, more of operational issues. And that is one, lack of compliance to rule of law or to rules and regulations. Anyị chichere iwu, anyị memewage. We find out that we only get 40% compliance. And a system cannot move forward if it has such operational errors or operational challenges where HOU silicon ga emejeke eme ụfọdụ dunepal ga-eme ụfọdụ abụrụ levere kapụrụ ụkwụ ụfọdụ abụrụ na ignorance ụfọdụ abụkwanụrụ ụfọ enya ụfọdụ abụkwanụrụ maọbụ ya jeke eme. So amaghị m why we need to defeat that lack of compliance to rules. And let me give few examples. Pascal Loke, unu prepare an account, inflows and outflows of funds. Geduru nwete ego and geduru spend. It became a Herculean task. Or God the gob, lobhegibe God possible. I mean, Maya be a very simple thing, even to some of us who are not accountants. So I don't know why, I mean, it became so difficult to comply to that rule or to that instruction. I like it thrive, people again observe rules. I don't like belonging to such place. Two, every subcommittee will submit a report at the end of the month. Or this is what something based on observed. Observed that give you made investigate scientific investigation. Observed be of course if you ever know be made what happened during this month, report it for us. Respect to your subcommittee. People will not do that. I mean, where is it done in mobilized and organized? Again, we see a situation where the PC instructs the admin to include names of people in the as admins, co-admins, both in the executive and or in the general platform. Somebody will just say no, as if it is his or her private property. I was only keeping quiet to some of these negligence and insubordination from our brothers or so, because I mean, I don't like breaking laws. I don't like system now game observe rules and regulations. I don't belong to such thing. My call if it is both or bar. They get simple instruction like do this, and then towards the give draw issue make again. As who now? As the PC or as the what? The bonye. So I have many examples to give, but I don't need to overflood us with those examples. We know it. It is something we see every day. Personally, I become happy with non-compliance to rules and regulations. Ucheku about lack of commitment in terms of some people. Yes, some people are not committed, but we need that commitment in order to thrive, in order to sustain. Again, there is this serious distraction and disrespect that we get. That we disagree to agree. As executives, I do not feel knowing anybody with a rubber stamp. If I say something, debunk my fact with debunk my submission with technical points, with technical facts. Don't go to gossip at the back. Don't go to have a side meeting. Don't go and begin to do politics with truth. Because here, in this UmuLett thing, we are telling ourselves the truth. We are not doing politics. We are telling ourselves the truth. So, and sometimes we disrespect, and this disrespect merges with lack of compliance. Because I don't see why a PC can say, do this, and he will refuse in toto and in preco to do it. That don't mind my slogan, that is not proper at all. I can't condone it personally. It cannot be condoned in any setting, any official setting. Then lastly, is what I call sometimes accountability. Sometimes Asimadu near account of what he did. Or the gobble, Lonyo spend there ₦1 or 10 kobo. So I ain't really much of that, but we need to bear that in mind that sometimes I am the good and blessed. It has not been a good because our PC incidentally has not been handling money. He only approves most of the time. But more for that, if we don't, for instance, in the YGE, we manage the greatest funds. But if to make sure, and that was why, if you look at our accounting system, ₦1 that accounted for, because more they could not each can go when we dash go. People go because we must account for it to the last letter. That is my own, you know, I don't joke with accountability. So, Kaobe Mwag, Mr. PC, Najimachi Kwa, Uto Dinges.
Thank you very much,
Nando Ebebe.
Dr. Azza. You spoke well too, just like in line with the and your statements are clear and directional. So the major thing you mentioned actually, on the issue of there are operational issues and accountability issues. I'm sure that Lobo guy will run over and run, which everybody was seeing the balance of the accounting system. And the Madagal said, hey, guy gets optimal. But because every deposit, every alert that comes in, we see both the amount that was paid and the amount that is the outstanding balance. So it gave a lot of hope to the people. And that's what we did. But we need to go further than that. We need to go further than that. We need to be more accountable. Yes, I know that if you want to request for the bank statement, it's possible that we can get a bank statement and it will give us a good backup of all that we have spent. Even if you go handle that job as if it is you are doing it unto the Lord. That's what the Bible says. Do it as if you are doing it unto the Lord. So some of us, and that takes me to the next thing, Dr. Zoku, lack of compliance to rules of engagement. Specifically, two people were mentioned. I don't know. They were not complying to the requests. They didn't comply to the demands of the rules at that particular time. Then every committee reporting pattern. The report, just like Doc said, is observational. Just even bullet point. I don't even think it's good to write if you don't have the strength to expand it. Bullet point. Bullet A, bullet point 1. This was done. Bullet point 2. This was done. Bullet point 3. This was done. Then we need to give so much writing. Even time I didn't even gas deep. So, but with that short summary of accounting, it will take people very far. Then you also made mention of the issues on admin on the WhatsApp. These are some of the issues that people can belittle your office and make you look stupid in what you're doing. And in order to manage crisis, you may put it on hold for a while, but it is not the best. So I don't know if anybody still has more things to talk about. Otherwise, we will begin to look at how do we go from, what do we do from here? Where do we go from here? I don't know who really pressure we really got on the areas that didn't actually work. But I must say that complete participation and sometimes leadership commitment in some areas, we are still not completely compliant to the leadership needs. This committee executives are all of them are drive this thing. And if you don't drive it well, for instance, any house that is divided among itself is can't hold. See, an executive, but a part of whatever decision that is taken. So if it's outside, side or with the general group, then it means there's something wrong. Really wrong. Because when you to take a decision, whether maybe opinion, whether maybe minority or majority opinion, you are part of that decision. That's how democratic setting activities are carried out. Don't worry, you know the American now who is not supporting Biden. But when I support the guy, Biden is the president, and you can't go contrary to his rules. So, being that as it may, what we need to do now is holistic participation. Holistic participation. How do we go forward? How do we move ahead? How do we move ahead? We need something to encourage us move ahead and move ahead and move ahead well. So we've had everybody, and we need to begin to talk about. For me, I had which everybody applauded, but the sustainability angle of those things, the lacking. The sustainability angle, the very, very far. Me, I had more me. People didn't patronize the water because I placed some money over it. It must be from me with the tap outside. That's good. People went there and picked fresh water freely. But when Amos went back, some of them were still going back to that borehole. Though I don't have the update now. My agent updating me and whatever this boy saw something which is wrong. There, one wish, Ugo. Last time I called him, so I had an account of what he did last year. He didn't. So for me, we need to begin to brainstorm on sustainability angle of all these things we have made, especially the utilities, water and electricity. We need to think, what are the ways out? How do we handle those things and find a solution? For the light, is it possible that we can get authority from NEPA and engage community facilitators? This is my thought. I'm just sharing my thought broadly, so you can fault it. So we refer as permanent staff of community-based staff of EEDC. They will have the power to drive collection. They will have the power to disconnect. They will have the power to report any body. We will write an MOU. We will write an MOU engaging us with the NEPA, so that they will recognize that those people who are engaged are officers of the community-based EEDC. So that is one. Then on the water aspect, I told the water committee, the subcommittee of water, so I engage your UmuLett Exco. Every word will tell one woman. Every word will tell one woman. Let us hand over the same to the women to manage. Ugo can now be an overseer, maybe later chairman, but let them find a way of remunerating themselves from that. I believe in whoever is working should reap from whatever you are doing. That is the incentive. So that those women will be managing this thing, find a way of giving something into the pot of General Assembly, then remunerating money to themselves and servicing the equipment, so that those things will be independent. Privatization is the key thing in our economy today. So if we think that it is too harsh, we can see how maybe when it is privatized, people will be paying more. As for the analysis, what quantity of water comes out from that overhead tank? I hope somebody is here. Hello.
Go ahead.
Are you guys listening to me?
Okay.
Okay. So that we will be able to get a more robust system that can sustain that water 24 hours, especially during the dry season. Then on the road, we also agree with those who said that if we don't, and on that premise, remember that Pascal went and engaged Demi Water to come and speak to us on the implication of that road if we don't do anything to safeguard it, to reduce water flow. So these things, each of them are relevant at their own point. But what we need to do now is we need to work together. Then again, even already very critical is our source of funding. Is it sustainable? Our source of funding. I strongly believe the only go nye ukwu ego mmiri la ifube. Onye of the wetere ego sacrifice something. And it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong and condemnable that some of our members some of them are even doing the running around themselves, not as if they don't have the money. And I mentioned all those things in my annual report. Some of them even didn't connect their friends or their relations in this WhatsApp group. Because some of we're seeing it a lot of people. I don't know man where you with a it's in the thing. So that all I feel not really we feel with over 1 naira, over 2 naira. Other even course now you have to touch a go so I think we need to begin to take them one by one. I've spoken so much. And just like some of you, we need to begin to take them one by one and address them. So thank you very much. I cannot thank you enough for your support and your suggestions. We need to highlight the specific areas that are very critical. One is security. I'm thinking that Lagos, we have to give security enough attention. Is that agreed?
Agreed, sir.
Okay. So we have to give security enough attention. We need to look at those areas. We need to train them. Some of them are not even behaving within the security man doesn't flout his personality. You don't showcase yourself as a security man and this. Intelligence gathering is the most important thing in security. And we expect that we need to give them that capacity. They need to receive that capacity. So if that is handled, Two, we need to, how do we make electricity and water sustainable? How do we make electricity and water? Let's take them one by one. We have challenges in the electricity committee, yes, especially in-house. Tony also is capable, but Tony is ill-equipped. He's not having an Android phone. So he cannot participate in the meetings we hold because he cannot connect. So what do we do? Somebody suggested earlier, say remove anybody that is not active. And at a point, I suggested that opinion, but eventually my opinion was not accepted. I wanted that they contribute till the end of March should be removed, especially among us who are. I hope you saw those. You guys saw the
report.
That's right up.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, and you are not doing anything and you consider yourself a member of that group. So that was one of the things that we brought up. But majority opinions, no. And we left it that way. So what do we do with the security, the committee, the electricity committee, especially in Good, not the one that is, because some people can use our Kuba. What they do is facilitating and giving us information. Obi, now, when did you hear about the cutting of the light? Or today, they must have cut that in yesterday or day before yesterday. So the expectation is that somebody should bring it up in the floor. A member of that committee can bring it up, slack hot question. For the fact that you're not the chairman, actually, is hindering. That's oddly enough. Anybody in that committee can bring up that report. Is that okay? So what do we do? Let's start from that end.
You see, I think sometime not last year, there was a time we raised some issues concerning injecting new membership into the electricity subcommittee. Like we mentioned somebody like that Chidi Apple, Chidi Wugoma. And we mentioned somebody like again, mentioned somebody like about 2 or 3 of them were mentioned that these guys are the major consumers of the light, and because of the commitment in the usage of the light, they will not let the light to go off if they are involved in the mobilization for the collection. That they will leave everything and they will ensure that the light is sustained, and they will make sure that the men on ground are working. That if we bring in these guys to join maybe the task force team that are already working, just to handle the aspect of maybe taking note of the things, proper reporting and documentation, and then getting back to us. I'm sure both of them, like Ogenya and Wukai, are all supposed to be on to have Android phones, and they can social network channels, so that we can keep abreast even when we're not at home. We'll be able to know what is happening, and when something dangerous is about to happen. The man is supposed to even place a call. Anybody on my number, you know, nobody is making anything because they don't have the necessary tools to make report to at least report to the body that even engineered the installation of the lights. So we are totally in darkness based on that information flow, and that is our major challenge. If you can get those 3 of them, the 3 guys into the system, I'm sure it will help to add more value and strength in terms of the coordination and the reporting as well. And we'll give them a mandate because two of them will be on our list. They will understand our working types, our working system, so that they will know what to do for time. If there's any challenge, they'll be able to raise it up on time, and they will be able to marshal out ideas that will help to make bottom line is to delivering on results, not stories, you know. And another aspect that you needed to also look at very critical is that our sustainable sources of income, sustainable sources. Before now, we mentioned that there be annual development levy, 6,500 naira per person. If you cut it across board, at the end of every quarter, if you can do a kind of this thing, people on a platform who publish the people that pay, and then one point so far, and then one maybe when you put up to the quarter, people can be paying from different angles. Make the account number available. Transfers can be made from different quarters and corners to ensure that we are on top of our game. And with that lump sum, money coming in trickles, you can plan ahead of December or from October or from November that these are the things we want to do or we want to achieve for that year under review. But our sources of funding must be, we look for a sustainable source, or any other thing we get from supporters is an addition to what we have. But the major source is this. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. The this thing I foresee a situation. I foresee a situation we may not be able to handle all these things in this meeting. But I want to remind us that we need to separate. We need to separate. Can you mute your speaker? We need to separate what is going on in the community from this development. If you know, the thing has been, before you talk about dues and levies, you will have a constitutional backing. You must have something backing you up constitutionally. But we don't have that. And it will be difficult for you to enforce that aspect of discussion. You understand me? Ike, you're welcome. Please, can you mute your video? You hear? So that is one. It's difficult to actually use asking people to bring dues and enforcing it. That way you recover the money and all that. So that for me, this platform provides wayful approach. Only with let it be. And that's why Angela is the best option to this. But those who are willing to contribute should contribute. Not ready to willing to contribute are not members of this group. They are not members of this group. And we should differentiate between left General Assembly and this development wing. Unless Mandela sign a constitution, which is in the development wing now, design a model that we can use to generate funds. Otherwise, our major source of generating funds will still remain on wayful donation. I don't know if somebody is following my line of logic. So,
sorry.
in the area of.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I'm listening.
Please, on that regard, if we present our position to the General Assembly, and in the meeting floor, the members contribute ideas, and it was unanimously agreed and voted that we should go ahead and collect that debt while they perfect the constitution. If we have that general consensus agreement and approval in the floor of the meeting, I think, and it is documented on the meetings minutes that approval is hereby granted to UmuLett Global to collect 6,000 naira or 500 naira per person per month annually for development levy. If we have that approval from the General Assembly on the floor of the meeting and it is documented in the minutes, I'm very sure it is as good as binding and it is legal, a legally accepted document pending the constitutional backup. Because if we wait for this constitutional backup, I don't know when it will be ready. And we need to sustain what we have done. That's just our major thing.
That's a smart one. Yeah.
I with respect to this levy collection, I want to throw my weight on this recommendation that even in national governments, that's what we call policies and procedures. There are things in the Nigerian constitution today that are implemented to the letter. And there are things that are not in the constitution that are also implemented that fall under procedures. Procedures are agreements reached by the National Executive Council, for instance, the NEC, the ministers with the president and chief of staff, chief of staff. So we must not get Let Development Forum mandate signed in a constitution before we are empowered to implement any activity. We can take single 1, 2, 3 mandate items. Take, for instance, this fundraising issue, considering what they can see with their eyes. We give them electricity, we give them roads, we give them water, we give them entertainment. And if we come back and say, in order to sustain this work, we will need you to empower us through consensus, through approvals on this floor, for us to go ahead to levy and collect a specific amount of money from every taxable male adult in Let. My brother, it becomes a law. Remember them by trade can obey rules and regulations. Let gboro sign je chamudu or limudweg. Ejecheru drag lata. Lanya akori wundla every age grade edu. You may not find it in the constitution, but as long as UmuLett mandate right to do it, it becomes a law. So I throw my weight behind law we prepare 2, 3 items if they need to beg from the floor of the house and take it to them, present and seek for the approval. That will be my submission to this effect. Thank you.
Yeah. Can you mute yourself? Yeah, thank you. Somebody is not.
Go ahead, PC.
I'm trying to see if I can mute. Obi, can you mute yourself,
Let me mute
please?
I'm the only one who can mute somebody from here.
Okay, mute Obi. Mute Obi.
Mute IK and IK particularly.
IK and Obi. Any other person. If you are not the one talking, if you are not the one speaking, please mute the person. Okay, thank you. So I think one of the is Uche still here? Is Uche still here? I think he has left.
Which have for since?
So one of the takeaways of one of the sustainable takeaways that we need to engage in now is to do a presentation for approval from the General Assembly to mandate this global development to levy every taxable adult a given amount of 6,000 naira per annum. Let that person find a way of giving us this development levy every year, and that will help us to sustain all the development strides, especially those ones that are not utility based. Because I am on 6,000 electricity. So we can use it to do other things that we have approved to do. But my challenge is, anyway, if the people are able to get that, fine. If they're able to approve it, if they don't approve it, then we will know reasons why. So we are going to present it Easter Monday. I think that's one thing we have to go with. If that is approved, then only enough leverage on the issue of sustainable source of funding. Is there anybody who's dissenting voice over this?
I support your idea, as you have said, presentation Easter Monday during the general meeting of the General Assembly. Our report and request for approval will be presented. And if it is so approved, as I believe they have to, or after seeing all the strides we have made during December, I'm sure they have no option than to grant us that humble approval. They enable us to do more. They enable us to do more. Because we want, to whom much is given, much will be expected. And it is expected of us to plan and then get them to serve, make visible provisions for whatever thing we are doing to show that, yes, the money, this is where it is going to. And we stand to be accountable for whatever expenses and whatever income generated. And that is the truth. So I support your idea.
You were the person that brought the idea, so we are just fine-tuning the idea. So the idea of bringing it on Easter Monday is what I just suggested to put it, give a robust arrangement to it. Okay, so we're taking it faster now. I think what we need to do is we need to send out a letter to non-active members of this group, reminding them of their poor participation and non-activeness. We may not write them individually because the secretary is not here. Otherwise, we will say, let's write them individually. Or what do you need to write them and ask them, what is it that is making them non-active in what we are doing? If they are not interested, they should put up a letter of non-interestedness, and the community will, their words will replace them. If you take
Hello. PC, are you there? Hello, PC. Hello, Doc.
Yeah, I think PC will go problem.
Okay, network issue.
Yes, but maybe he wants to sign in back.
Yeah, I'm sure he will trust him.
The battery on your.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna also have park or motor. Let's go back quick one on the charger. Anyway, but be that as it may, if you can be able to get this approval.
Oh, God, come again here.
What you want for? Oh, go be my this boy one. I keep patana.
I keep patana, but I don't think more. More maybe all I never any, but it was not okay. Frank is back.
Okay.
Maybe
okay, PC, welcome.
Even I have a problem.
PC. Okay, say trying to hook up. In an office, the work you know they go they just start today.
No, the Nigerians in this country, I think we're meeting with the whole Nigerian community.